Hi guys, it's Mark here from Newbie Prepping. I'm doing a voiceover on this first bit. I'd like to apologise for that. The mic was picking up too much wind, and so you couldn't hardly hear me at all. So this first part is just going to be a voiceover, and then you'll actually get back to the actual video as it goes on. Right, so here's the video. I started off today, and it was basically saying, "Hi guys, it's me. And I'm out and about." And the idea of these videos, what I'm going to be doing, they're going to be broken up into sections, is finding that bug out location and having it in your mind of where to go before anything happens, because it gives you a lot more time to actually do your research in the area. So I was out on the edge of a forest, and I had a spot what I wanted to go and check out, because I thought it would be quite a good location for a springboard. So from my first bug out location, this would be the second to the final one, depending on what's happening in the world or why I'm bugging out. So the idea of this one was if there was a big flood, and the first bug out location started to be flooded. So this would be the stepping stone to get to higher ground. So I was walking through, and I was looking around to see what resources there were, and it's a pine forest, spring pine. And spring pines do normally grow very straight, and they all fight for light. So it's good for actually building your shelter. Good for resources for burning your timber, but obviously you already chopped down the ones that have died, and obviously you can tell that by there's no leaves, and generally they're either falling over from wind damage, as you can see behind me there. And so you do need to watch out where you're making your camp, because of trees what are not as stable as others. So if there are wind damaged trees around, just be careful. So other stuff to look out for is stones for building your fire. Just need to find out about what type of food resources there are around. Where possible, you want to find out who owns the land, and this was a government forest, and generally you can walk anywhere in a government forest without being questioned, and if you happen to get to know the park rangers or park wardens, you can actually camp there. Obviously you can't build anything, but this was purely just to look around and see spots to do a bug out location. So the ground where I was at the moment was quite marshy, so I did have my doubts, but I was hoping the higher up the hill I would go, the ground would be a bit more stable and a bit more solid. So as you can see, my air is blowing away a bit, and I do forget about holding the camera up high enough. And this is the point where I was just about to go into the woods, deeper into the woods, and I was just about to sign off, saying I needed both hands to get through there, and there was a little pathway through. Right, so it's going to go on to the next video now.
Right, so I'm about halfway up now. It has been tough going. Quite a lot of the ground down the bottom here was a bit boggy. There's a couple of little streams running past, but what I have seen on my way up, which gives a good idea of other resources, is I've seen like mushrooms. Now you've got to be really careful with mushrooms, so if you're out looking for your camp, I would say take a picture, and you would see the pictures now, of mushrooms, then look them up, right, to see if they're edible or not, because if you know what mushrooms you can eat, it's an extra food source. And also look out for other types of plants, berries and stuff. Now I just come across quite a big, I'm just going to show you, bush of what I could believe would be either raspberries or blackberries. Now, great, during the summer they'll be quite abundant. The only downside is they're not getting much light because of the tree cover, so the fruit might not ripen properly, but you will still get a few off of them. I mean, it's flowering quite nicely and there's a lot of buds there, and obviously some, as you can see, some berries are very small and green, but they're still there. So again, extra sort of food source. So that's also handy for you as you're looking for your location to where you're going to bug out or build your first camp or your second camp. Is seeing what's around. Take pictures so you got a record of it, and then you can even make a little a library of stuff what you know you can eat, and laminate them to make them waterproof, and just attach it to a carabiner, and then if you've got children, you can say, right, go and look for these, you know, and they can go off and get the blackberries, blueberries, you know, certain types of mushrooms if they're right, if they're safe to eat. But please be careful with mushrooms, because a lot of wild mushrooms are quite dangerous. They will make you sick, hallucinate, and you could even die from some. Also, what I noticed is that some of the trees have fallen. So obviously it's a bit of a windy day, as you probably can see and hear. So you've got to be aware of other trees what may still fall down. So when you're planning your camp, you've got to be aware of that. So there is a few trees here which is already fallen. Now I've seen some YouTube videos where you can use a fallen tree because it will give you a protective windbreak. So I'll just show you. So yes, it does give you a windbreak, but I have found, especially where I am, I live in Northern Ireland, because it rains a lot more, that where the trees actually come up, it's soddened. It is absolutely waterlogged. If there's not water in there, your feet would go, you would sink into it a good like 6-7 inches easily. So if you do, there's another one here which I'll probably show you a lot easier if I can get around here. So as you can see, this tree's fallen over along with that one, so both fall over. Now that would give you a nice wall protective windbreak, but then when you look down on the ground, you can see it's absolutely saturated with water. So if you do use one of these as a windbreak, because you see it's dry, be prepared if it does rain overnight or the following day, that there's a good chance of that area becoming waterlogged. So definitely have something, so your raised bed, to give you that extra bit of protection. Now generally, if I was going to use this, I wouldn't use this side, I would use the other side. The other side where the actual tree itself is. Now the reason why I would choose the other side is if other trees do fall, you've got that protection of that trunk, as you can see. So if you're laying down and the tree falls this way, it's going to hit that trunk and give you some protection. You may struggle getting out, but you've got that bit more protection. Again, if it's only going to be for a night, you know, just make sure the weather conditions are suitable to where you're going to be camping. But if it's a situation where you're bugging out, sorry, keep losing my head in the screen. If you're gonna bug out and it's a bug out for real, sorry, you got my finger there. As I say, if you're gonna bug out for real, making the camp underneath a fallen tree is not really ideal. You want to make sure that it's suitable for the entire family or your friends or how many people. you're going to be having around. As you can see by the trees, the wind has picked up a little bit more, so I'm going to carry on moving up to the spot where I want to try and look for. I have got my doubts about it being a good place for camping, building a camp, because the ground so far has been quite sodden with water. So I'm hoping when I get up higher it won't be so wet. Right, so I'll get back to you in a minute. If I find anything more, I'll let you know.